In the headlines, bandits open fire, abduct pregnant woman, teenage daughter along Kaduna-Abuja highway. 5 killed, 2 injured in Bauchi fatal crash. Residents in Osun State appeal for repairs to their collapsed bridge. 5 killed in suicide bombing at Somalia military camp. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. A pregnant woman and her teenage daughter have been abducted at Ilobu village located along Kaduna-Abuja highway. The incident happened around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. The bandits reportedly went straight to their victim's house to abduct them. The bandits stormed the house with the intention of abducting the woman's husband, but he was not at home at the time of the arrival. Residents said the bandits shot sporadically to scare the villagers away. The neighbor of the victims, who didn't want to be named, said the housewife identified as Adama was abducted alongside 4 of her children, but the bandits later released 3 of them. Another resident, who identified himself as Ashiru Ilobu, said the bandits took them by surprise because they disguised as security personnel. He said the villagers mistook them for security men since soldiers and police usually frequent the village on patrol. Police Public Relations Officer DSP Muhammad Jalige is yet to give details on the incident. Tragedy struck as 5 persons were killed in a road crash at Isma village on the Bauchi-Jos highway. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Bauchi State, Yusuf Abdullahi, confirmed the figure when he spoke with the news agency of Nigeria in Bauchi on Saturday. He said 2 other persons were seriously injured in the crash, which involved one Peugeot 406 car and a DAF tanker. He attributed the cause of the crash to a speed violation. Abdullahi said both the injured and the corpses had been taken to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital in Bauchi. He lamented the losses and advised motorists to always be cautious of traffic rules and regulations. 30 children who were abducted by terrorists in Katsina State have regained their freedom. The children were kidnapped on Sunday while working on a farm in Mairua community, Faskari local government area of Katsina State. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, on Friday had urged authorities to swing into action and rescue the children. In a statement signed by UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Christian Monduate, the UN agency described the abductions as reprehensible. Police spokesperson SP Gamba Isa confirmed their release in a statement on Saturday. He said the victims, comprising 17 girls and 13 boys, have since been reunited with their respective families as investigations continue. The abducted children are aged between 15 and 18 years old. Now, Angwenyashi area of Tudunwada community in Jos North local government area of Plateau State are still in awe over the disappearance of a 3-year-old girl and was found alive 3 days later in a well pit in an uncompleted building. The incident has sparked pleasant shock in the community, and people have been expressing different scenarios around the mystery. Our reporter Dixon Adama reports that 3-year-old Lydia was playing in the compound with 6 other children when she suddenly disappeared. The report.
3-year-old Lydia came from Kwara State to Jos about a month ago with her mother and her brother to visit her auntie, who resides at Tudunwada. On that fateful day, Lydia was playing outdoors with her brother and cousins who were on a school midterm break when she vanished into thin air. What is surprising is that this 3-year-old had never gone out of her compound alone, so she does not know anywhere apart from the little apartment they live in. And what's more overwhelming was for her to be found in a well in an uncompleted building where people defecate and dump refuse about 400 kilometers away from her house. She had injuries on her forehead after she was found, where she was immediately rushed to Plateau Hospital in Jos.
Immediately as they brought her out from the well, they asked, "Is this the girl that we are looking for?" We now say yes. So we rushed her to the hospital. She was given some medication and treatment. So we came back home around 5 o'clock in the evening.
And according to what the madam, she told us that they were playing 7 of them. Then only to come and discover they didn't see her. After 3 days, then they went and saw her inside a deep well there where the dung rape is inside the place. And according to the distance from the house and where the well was, the distance is too far.
Seriously, this incident that happened seriously is a shock for everybody, because we have never had something like that in Threeyearold like this. Because it's a surprise for everybody that a child can just miss for 3 days, and before they will still know what happened, that girl missed fall inside the well, and they take the girl out with life, and they were supposed. Seriously, it's a shock for everybody. Seriously, because we have never seen something like this. Seriously, we are just advising that women, seriously, you should be very careful how you leave your children to walk around like that.
The community recently had a case of kidnapping and disappearance of people, upon which 2 suspects were recently nabbed by members of the community and were almost lynched by angry mob before they were rescued by security operatives. Meanwhile, Lydia's family said the case is now with the police to investigate her disappearance. However, parents have been called upon again to be more vigilant and ensure they have a 24-hour watch over their children.
The insecurity situation is escalating by the day, especially in communities of southern Katsina, otherwise known as Funtua Zone. Funtua Zone, with 11 local government areas, is gradually coming under persistent bandits' attacks, killings, kidnappings, rustling of animals and destruction of properties. In Katsina, Threeyearold went to some communities in Funtua and Faskari local governments, where some residents say hardly one could find a community that is not affected by the terrorist attacks. His report.
Parents of the abducted children, who are mostly from poor backgrounds living from hand to mouth, have been crying since the incident on Sunday afternoon. Some of them neither sleep nor eat for the past 6 days following the trauma of the abduction that has thrown the entire community into despair and apprehension.
I am really disturbed and worried, but I'm always praying to God Almighty to bring them back home safe and sound. They took 2 of my daughters, an 18-year-old and 15-year-old. They kidnapped 2 of my children. I'm really in a very bad state. All I'm praying is for them to be set free and come back home.
While seeking divine intervention, the parents are also calling for government's intervention to rescue the children from the hands of the terrorists. Now it is almost a week since the unfortunate abduction of our children, and it doesn't seem the government is doing something about it, and the owner of the farm is under arrest. In this situation, what do we do? Already, the terrorists are demanding the sum of 30 million naira ransom to secure the release of the abducted children, or in the alternative, the owner of the farm make himself available to them in the next couple of days. We are so much worried, confused and traumatized. We have exhausted all our efforts, and the bandits have been calling and threatening to sell our children out if their demands are not met. Speaking off camera, the Sarkin Rafin Katsina District Head of Merua, Sani Idris Sambo, gave assurances that plans are underway by the relevant stakeholders to rescue the children unhurt. He, however, expressed worries over increasing spate of insecurity bedeviling some parts of Merua district, which has worsened living condition of many communities. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari has been urged to direct the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, to immediately reverse the deduction in the salaries of university lecturers. The federal government paid half salaries to members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities for the month of October 2022. Some professors reportedly received salaries ranging from 71,000 to 121,000 for October. Justifying the decision, Chris said ASU members were paid their October salary pro rata. Pro rata was done because the lecturers cannot be paid for work not done. In a statement on Sunday, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, knocked the federal government for not paying the varsity teachers in full. SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare also asked President Buhari to direct the Acting Accountant General of the Federation, Silva Okaliopo, to immediately reverse the apparently illegal deductions from the salaries of members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities for October 2022. On February 14th, ASU embarked on strike and suspended it on October 14th while the strike brings to the table, if elected, Nigeria's president next year. Social Democratic Party has inaugurated 222-member campaign council headed by a former female Commissioner of Women Affairs in Adama, Mrs. Titi Malik, with a vow to sweep the 2023 general elections in all contested positions. The gubernatorial candidate of the party, Umar Ado, said the basis of appointing a woman to lead the campaign council was aligned with gender politics adopted by the state. Salis Lawa reports that a central planning committee was also inaugurated.
The SDP gubernatorial candidate, Ardo, who expressed optimism of emerging victorious at the polls, prayed for PDP in Adamawa not to be disqualified so that they can compete favorably.
We are going to conquer hunger, we are going to conquer illiteracy, we are going to conquer poverty, we are going to conquer corruption, we are going to conquer disease, we are going to bring about fundamental changes that will visibly be seen to affect the life of our people. Any developmental change of whatever nature, if you have not seen it visibly affect the people, it is of no essence.
Speaking after the inauguration ceremony, the newly appointed Director General, SDP Campaign Council, Titi Malik, vowed to work assiduously toward the successful outing of the party come 2023 general polls in the state.
What we expect from the people of Adama State and our campaign council is that Dr. Ardo is the best alternative for Adama State at this moment, because we believe that he is going to deliver good governance to the people of Adama State. So my position as the Director General today and being inaugurated today, we are going to work hard. We are going to be committed to seeing that we win the 2023 election.
Thank you. The only candidate we have now in Adamawa State is Dr. Umar Ardo, is a SDP candidate. So what I want to tell Adamawa people, we have serious problem and we need their attention. We want them to know the situation we are now.
Indeed, all these politics of godfatherism, politics of mafianism, the people of Adamawa State need to set that type of political, or I can say a barbaric nature of politics aside and bring in new politics where all people should be inclusive in their governance.
The campaign council was then urged to be sincere, truthful, and committed to ensuring the party's victory come 2023. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
The people of Ilobu, the headquarters of Irekpodu local government area of Osun State, have expressed worry over the dangerous state of the Threeyearold Bridge in the town. They lamented that the Threeyearold Bridge has become a death trap and almost cutting off many communities in the area from the Ilobu town. Hamid Oyegbade has more.
The road has become almost impassable. The people of Kounda and Atoyebi communities are finding it difficult to move to Ilobu Township because of the dilapidated Threeyearold Bridge. It also affects 3 secondary schools and the general hospital in the area, thereby making it difficult for students to attend schools while residents are unable to access health care at the hospital. The president of Ilobu Ashake Development Union, Olufemi Salako, said the collapsed bridge constituted danger to the people and appealed to the state government to rehabilitate the bridge.
It is the main road connecting the Konda community, the Atoyebi community, the General Hospital of Ilobu, the Muslim playground, and the three secondary school here. In addition to all the agrarian community, this is the road that they used to bring in farm produce, and that all the community, like a quarter of residents of Ilobu, to access the main town, and it's totally damaged.
A community leader, Muideen Adeleke, appealed to the state government to repair the bridge before it leads to affordable deaths.
So we are appealing to the state government to intervene by ensuring that this bridge that is threatened now is almost, cut off. It's almost cut off, and if nothing is done, definitely people living at Konda, among other adjoining communities, will find it difficult accessing the center of Ilobu.
Another community leader in Ilobu, Afusat Alabi, also appealed to the federal government to ensure completion of the Ojutu Bridge that connects Osun and Oyo states to the northern parts of the country.
So I'm using this opportunity to appeal to the federal government, the contractor, all the stakeholders involved, to please come to our aid to complete this particular bridge, because we have a lot of people flying this road. People going from Oshogbo, from Osun State to Oyo State to the north, to another part of the country, they ply this particular road.
The residents said when government repair the bridge, farmers will be able to bring farm produce to Ilobu town, and it will boost the economy of the town. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
You're watching Trust TV News Updates. Coming up, we'll take a look at a man who has never used cars. Details of this after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Our top stories. Bandits open fire, abduct pregnant woman, teenage daughter along Kaduna-Abuja highway. 5 killed, 2 injured in Bauchi fatal crash. Moving on, culture binds people together irrespective of social status. One occupies anywhere in the world. 2022 Lemp Zar annual gathering of Sayawa clan of Tafa Balewa local government area of Bauchi state corroborates this notion. Large crowd of people from far and near converged on Tafa Balewa to witness the event, thereby boosting the economy of the area. Trust TV's Adama Imam reports.
Many Nigerians believe that culture tells more about where people come from, especially when it depicts norms and values of a particular tribe. Isha Abdu is the chairman of the Lem Zar Festival 2022, and he said this year's event is meant to exhibit their cultural identity.
People have come from all areas, even from outside the country, people have come. So we want to appreciate everybody, and it has helped us to actually sustain the culture, at least for this year. So continuity will continue to sustain the culture, and that will be the basis of let me say, the identification of the people.
He says color of festival attire symbolizes their redemption as human beings.
Noted is the black, which shows that we were born as sinners, and we were children of the devil. So we were in darkness. Christ came and shed his blood for us. That is the red. So this blood that he shed for us now cleansed us. We are now as white as snow.
Chairman of Threeyearold community in Lagos State says unity is paramount as they celebrate yet another year of bountiful harvest. Waiga Allah Daniel Zah, youth leader, urged youth of the area to conduct themselves responsibly during the 2023 general elections.
Threeyearold Desire people is a unique day for us. Everywhere we want to celebrate this very day. To remember this day, this is the day that after all the farming, we have harvested the produce, we have to celebrate it. So it's been a natural activity that has been going on.
To call on my youth, since the 2023 election is around the corner, and the INEC have officially announced the date of collecting the PVC, that they should try as much as possible to went to their locations and obtain their PVC, because that is the only weapon.
The Threeyearold people seized the opportunity of the annual cultural festival to boost economic activity, and that is white sugarcane harvests, is one known as agricultural occupation of the people.
In the early days, people had no means of transport. Whenever they had to go somewhere, they walked on feet and used animals to carry their goods. However, the invention of the wheel proved to be the best thing that happened to man, as it made transport easier. In this report, Beatrice Grootsin Maiduguri met a man who has never used any form of transportation apart from his legs. His report.
This is Umar Goni. He has never entered a car in his life. Born and brought up in this house where his grandparents and relatives live for many years in Bulunkutu in Maiduguri metropolis, Malam Goni treks to go to anywhere he wants to go daily. Malam Goni said as far back as 50 years, the only means of transportation he enjoyed and trusts is walking. Sometimes he covers 20 kilometers, other times even more. I don't like boarding keke or taxi. I prefer to walk. I've been doing it for long. People say I use charm. I don't. That's how God created me. And I don't experience body pains. Some people who always see him passing by, trekking from one place to another from early mornings to late evenings, always wonder why engage in such tiring acts. This is really amazing because it's during our forefathers' time that they walk such distance. But like his own, honestly, there must be something behind it. We know him for like 15 years now. He treks to the market and to the Sheh's palace daily. He goes to the Sheh's palace to pay homage even if the Shehu is not around. He doesn't smoke or use drugs because if he do, we will know. We only see him with a radio and he doesn't have a phone. Ever since I've known him, I've never seen him taking a rest before continuing his walk. And I've not seen him with a friend walking together. I can't trek like that, honestly, with this economic situation. All of us are surprised with him. He's been trekking since the time of Maina Maaji. He also doesn't have a phone. He doesn't like it. When they got one, he sold it to pay off debts. He does so because he doesn't have the means. That's why he treks always. If not, if he has a car or tricycle, he won't be trekking. Despite people wondering why Malam Goni does not use other means of transportation available, he is always admired and fondly known around the city because of his hands akimbo walk and usual waving to greet his admirers. His daily walks start from early mornings and end late evenings. What a man, what a long, arduous journey.
That's a very interesting report there. Now, moving on, Director General of the Delta State Contributory Health Commission, Ben Nkechika says the state government is providing health insurance to internally displaced persons in the state because their means of livelihood has been eroded by the ravaging flood. Nkechika, who stated this at a joint press conference in Asaba, explained that the state government is determined to provide access to quality health services to all residents of the state, irrespective of their socio-economic status and geographical location. He noted that with the enrollment of the internally displaced persons into the contributory health insurance, they would have access to free quality health care for 1 year, even after leaving the camps.
Very rural communities. So we're extending this program to them where we register them into the scheme through an electronic process. We get their biodata, we get their biometrics on the family tree, father, mother, and the children. We issue them an ID card. With that ID card, they're able to be referred from the clinic within the camp to any of the private or public healthcare facilities for more care beyond what the camp can provide. A big challenge to access to healthcare for most of these poor people is affordability. We've seen situations where one medical condition can wipe out a family's earnings because the medical condition is beyond what they can pay for. They probably sell their property, go take loan, or they succumb to the effects of that healthcare service.
And on the foreign scene, a suicide bomber has detonated his explosives near a military training camp in Somalia, killing at least 5 people and wounding 11 others. The attack at the camp in the Somali capital Mogadishu was claimed by the Al-Shabaab armed group and comes a week after twin explosions in the capital that left at least 116 dead. Sona, a military official, announced the death toll in a Twitter post citing the Somali National Army chief, Odoa Yusuf Rageh. Sona said the attack happened at the camp's entrance and quoted Rageh as saying that Somali troops thwarted the bomber from reaching his target. Earlier, Aden Yari, another military official, told newsmen that the assailant targeted the Zero Naknak training camp for army recruits. And in sports, Arsenal returned to the top of the Premier League table as Gabriel's close-range finish gave them victory away to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Gabriel pounced to steer the ball over the line in the 63rd minute after the hosts failed to deal with Bukayo Saka's corner from the right wing to give the Gunners a deserved lead. They had created the best chances when it was goalless, but Gabriel Martinelli curled a shot over the crossbar, and Gabriel Jesus failed to hit the target with a diving header when unmarked. Chelsea, with ex-Arsenal captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, failed to make an impact against his former side, struggled to create clear-cut chances, and now without a win in 4 Premier League matches. And that's it on News Updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.